Shut the up. I don't give a dude. Look at this. Look at this. He's fighting a professional boxer.
After learning about Jake Paul's impending promotional press conference for his fight with Mike Tyson, yes, you read that right, Joe Rogan just trashed him. Joe maintained his composure at first, watching from the sidelines, believing that Jake's challenge was just a publicity stunt to gain some quick, possibly not so clean fame. However, he recently released a podcast episode in which he really roasted the idea of Jake entering the ring with Tyson, saying that some people are just crazy men. You can guarantee that Joe Rogan isn't just stating things out of context when he makes comments like that. Consider this. This man is a living legend from a bygone era of boxing, when champions were forged of iron and grit rather than followers on Twitter and Instagram. In 1986, Mike Tyson became the youngest heavyweight champion in history at the age of 20, whereas 20-year-olds nowadays are either becoming YouTube sensations or perfecting TikTok dances. Tyson was occupied with defeating Trevor Berbick to win the WBC title, which is not only amazing but nearly superhuman, and he didn't stop there. By 1987, Tyson had unified the heavyweight titles, winning the WBA, WBC, and IBF titles simultaneously. His victory made the entire world bow to him. Fast forward to the present, when Jake Paul, a former YouTube celebrity who is now a fighter, calls Tyson out.
Tyson people would talk too. There's certain people that are just crazy, man.
Well, after 4 years of boxing, he's prepared to take Iron Mike on with his iron chin. That's not just audacious, but also a tad insane. Recall that Tyson wasn't just any champion. He routinely defended his crowns by defeating elite opponents. Fighters like Michael Spinks, who speaks for himself, and Larry Holmes. This is Jake, a relative novice hoping to dance in the ring with the baddest man on the planet. It's like a high school quarterback wanting to face Tom Brady. For those who believe Tyson has lost his touch because he's pushing 58, here's what Joe Rogan had to say. Tyson's 91-second takedown of him in 1988 is still one of the most breathtaking moments in boxing history.
Mike, I really want to see, bro. Let's see all the legends, the myths, because you're Iron Mike Tyson, but I have an iron chin. I think people are underestimating me being able to deal with his power, and that is something that is going to make it interesting.
Have you watched the training vids that Tyson and Rafael Cordo did? Tyson is a force of nature. Every blow he delivers serves as a reminder that he is not simply hitting mitts, but completely destroying them. Despite all of his MMA skill and coaching experience, Cordo claims that Tyson's power is something else entirely and that training with him is like seeing a maestro at work. Joe Rogan doesn't remain silent when he talks about Jake entering the ring with Tyson because Tyson doesn't care who is in front of him. He sees a target and attacks hard and quickly. Although Jake may be seeking attention or proving a point, taking on Tyson is more than simply a challenge. It's a sobering reminder of reality. It's quite obvious that Rogan took a couple punches and kicks from Mike, and Jake may have realized he bit off more than he could chew. Listen to Joe Rogan discuss Jake Paul's attempt to enter the ring with Mike Tyson if you want to hear what true roasting in boxing sound like. Rogan doesn't hold back.
No.
He wants to fight Mike, I think.
Why?
I don't know.
I don't give a if he's 55. That's still Mike Tyson.
Mike's in good shape, too.
Oh, my God.
Mike trains every day.
He trains with Rafael Cordero, who's a legend in MMA. He runs King's Mixed Martial Arts. And Rafael is a world-renowned trainer. When you see him holding the mitts for Tyson, and Tyson smashing the mitts, like, Jesus. That guy can still you up.
Here's a little backstory to set the scene. In 1986, Tyson squared off against Marcus Frazier in a match that would go down in boxing history as one of the sport's shortest and most brutal exhibitions. Like Jake Marva, Frazier talked a lot, but talk is cheap when you're up against a young Tyson. Frazier was overwhelmed by Tyson's ferocity, throwing a devastating uppercut and a barrage of punches before the bell rang, and in just 30 seconds, Tyson was done and on his way to becoming a legend. Joe Rogan, in his usual way, doesn't hold back in drawing comparisons between Jake's current situation and Tyson's.
There's not a chance in hell that Jake Paul would survive against the Mike Tyson that beat Marvis Frazier. You ever watch that fight?
Yeah.
That's my favorite Mike Tyson fight, because that was Mike Tyson before he won the title. It was ABC Wide World of Sports, and Joe Frazier had been talking about Tyson, that if he was in his prime, he'd beat Tyson. And so he had his son fight Tyson, and it was an execution. It was an execution.
Imagine that when Tyson was at his peak, he was such an unstoppable force that most rational individuals would be forced to reevaluate their life decisions. Now, let's discuss another legendary Tyson moment. Rogan hasn't forgotten about the Bite H around the world, and neither has anyone else.
Tyson in his prime, where he was terrifying. He was so fast, and he would do angles, and he was bobbing and weaving. You couldn't hit him, and he was just coming at you.
That's Evander Holyfield discussing the piece of his ear that Tyson kept as a memento from their 1997 rematch. Holyfield may have prevailed by disqualification, but that bite turned into a wild symbol of Tyson's raw, unbridled spirit in the ring. Fast forward to the present, when Tyson and Jake Paul are about to square off. The most valuable promotions are planning 2 press conferences, one in New York City on May 13 and another in Arlington, Texas on May 16. Despite the age gap, excitement is mounting for these events. This is officially sanctioned as a professional bout lasting 8 rounds, 2 minutes each, between Tyson, 58, and Jake, 27. Tyson wants to use his 56-round record as credit toward his professional record, while Jake is returning to the blockbuster pay-per-view scene that catapulted him to fame. This matchup is more than just a fight, it's developing into an arrow showdown. If Jake has incited a ruckus in Tyson, he may just find out what it's like to be the target of a legend's anger before to the major press conference. Think for a moment about Mike Tyson's expression while he verbally attacks Jake Paul.
He bit a chunk of your ear off, and I saw it when you were coming in here. Show everybody that.
Well,
Did you ever think about getting that fixed?
well, no, that's my identification. Now, if I ain't got my
That's Tyson giving us a taste of what's to come. He's not only revved up and ready to go into the ring as the self-described god of war, not just a fighter. If Jake believes he's going in with some ancient relic, he's going to be in for a big awakening. According to Joe Rogan, Jake should be perspiring more after reading these instructions than after working out. No, Tyson isn't only depending on conventional training methods. Instead, he's stepping it up using electrical muscle stimulation training. Have you heard of it? This isn't your typical gym routine. It's what elite athletes and fitness gurus dream of, where they use electric impulses to trigger muscle contractions. It's kind of like what your brain does naturally when you flex, but supercharged. It's typically used to recover from injuries or for intense muscle strengthening. Joe reveals the information.
It was okay, but you don't know what you got in store, baby. You got to face the God of War. And get ready, baby. Fire in the hot.
This training is no joke. It's usually reserved for those who are serious about pushing their limits. Here, Mike Tyson, well into his 50s, is utilizing next-level technology to prepare for this fight. After seeing a glimpse of Mike Tyson's most recent training video, it appears that even Jake Paul's nerves are beginning to jitterbug when asked about the very real possibility of getting knocked out by Tyson. Imagine that Mike Tyson is not just maintaining but enhancing his beast mode status with cutting-edge science. Jake gave a less than assured response.
Mike Tyson, he's 57, but he got access to
Everything.
everything.
And he's also doing this very unique kind of training with electrical muscular stimulation that I've talked to some people that do that, and it has massive benefits of rehabilitating injuries.
Now, if that doesn't immediately make you realize that you're in over your head, I don't know what would. It's as if the prospect of facing the God of War himself in the ring has suddenly become real. Catching up with him, Tyson, who is most likely punching it since Jake is attempting to persuade everyone, possibly including himself, that everything is okay by avoiding eye contact with the reality. There are shadows that appear more resilient than most heavy bags. As we prepare for this advertising event, we even consider the scene. Joe Rogan's small revelation may have tightened the screws of reality for Jake, who, although not aware of what he's up against beforehand, is now ready and more fearsome than ever.
What if he knocks you out?
Ooh.
He sounds nervous.
Just look away.
No, like that will not be good, babe.
No, just look away.